is absurd, and I think he's the archetype of greed, and we need to push back and let him know that this is not for him.
I think that it's terrible that he keeps on threatening about invading Greenland, as it's a part of Denmark and it's its own country. So I don't think the US has anything to do with that.
I think it's crazy. I think it's something that just seems totally unreasonable from the US side, and I'm not sure why they think that they can just start going around and buying other people's land from them, or taking other people's land. I think it's a discussion that is interesting because it also opens up for us in Denmark looking at how we view Greenland and our ownership of Greenland as well. In my opinion, it belongs to the Aboriginal people who live there, and it belongs to them and Greenlandic people and the Greenlandic culture.
I hope that Americans realize and understand that the biggest threat to world peace right now is not the old enemy, China, Russia, etc. It's the US. The unpredictability of the Trump administration, the fact that they are clearly pushing out that old style technate imperialism where they want to take over every part of Central South America, Greenland, etc. The US is the biggest threat to world peace right now. It's not China, it's not Russia, who have always been unpredictable and have always been involved in these sorts of conflicts. It is currently the US. And I think people need to recognize that and talk about it in those very frank terms.
Hey beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. So all credit goes to the creators in these videos, guys. Let's dissect this down real and straightforward. So lately Donald Trump has been saying that he wants the United States to take over Greenland, not just buying it but controlling it. Now obviously that stirred up a lot of reactions and a lot of people have a lot to say. Now he says that Greenland is important for US national security, guys, and he mentions the strategic location in the Arctic and the natural resources again and again. Now some of his aides have said that nobody will fight the United States over Greenland, saying that the US might be able to get it one way or the other. Now, talking about the White House, they have not exactly ruled out military options, saying that the US military is always an option for acquiring Greenland, guys. When you look at it at first, you'll be like, what exactly is going on? Although this is not the first time he has floated this, right? But it matters because it touches on real international law, real alliances, and real people. So let's tear this apart and dissect it. And I feel it feels strange to so many people because people all over the world have reacted strongly. And even some Republicans in the United States have said that this is so appalling and that treating a NATO ally like that is totally not acceptable, because Greenland is not just a random piece of land. It belongs to Denmark, and it's part of the Kingdom of Denmark, like a long-standing European country and also a member of NATO. That means that the United States and Denmark are supposed to be allies, not competitors or aggressors. Now, talking about taking over a NATO territory, it just sets off alarm bells because it feels like it challenges the basic idea of sovereignty, the right of a country and its own people to decide their future. And European leaders are also not having it because they have publicly said that Greenland belongs to the people and every decision about that island must come from Denmark and Greenland alone, guys. At the very least, a lot of people see this as so disrespectful, guys. What do you think in the comment section? Because this is new and the internet is exploding. So many comments, so many videos about this, saying that a lot of people live in that place. I mean, about 57,000 of them live there. So where exactly do you want to place their future if you take over them? Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's see what these other creators have to say. Don't go nowhere. I'll see you soon.
If the United States needs Greenland for their national security, then Cuba needs Florida, China needs California, Russia needs Alaska, England needs New York, and Mexico needs Texas. This is why you should absolutely take it seriously when some batshit crazy person like Katie Miller posts some Looney Tunes thing like a map of Greenland with the United States flag over it, because number one, she knows she's in his inner circle, and number two, this is an attempt by the administration to normalize the idea that it's okay for the United States to just go in and steal and then occupy another sovereign country. Venezuela was a test to see how far Trump could go and what other countries would do in response to his illegal invasion and snatching of Nicolas Maduro, because nobody likes Nicolas Maduro, and very few countries even recognize him as a legitimate leader of Venezuela. And the rest of the world should absolutely take every single one of his threats seriously, because he is a danger to national sovereignty everywhere, no matter what your current relationship with the Trump regime is. He's already threatened Cuba, Colombia, Mexico, and Greenland in the last 24 hours.
He's not trolling. He's not kidding. It is becoming increasingly clear that the president is serious about the United States taking Greenland. And the White House just said a short time ago the president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal. And of course, utilizing the U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal. Utilizing the military on a NATO ally? Now, in case you didn't know, Greenland is a territory of Denmark, a NATO ally, and the United States already has presence in Greenland. We have a military base there, like all the military bases we've established in lots of NATO countries. The base in Greenland was an Air Force base. Now it's a Space Force base. So if we're already there, why does President Trump insist that the United States take Greenland away from Denmark and make it part of the United States? Well, here's what he said about it just a few days ago.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
I think it's helpful to look at a map so you can understand what President Trump is talking about. Obviously, there is Greenland right there, and here is the United States. Now, it's unclear where in this water those Russian and Chinese ships are located, but obviously, in the eyes of President Trump, it's too close for comfort. Now, since we're already operating that Space Force base in Greenland, most military experts say that the Danes and the Greenlanders are willing to work with the United States with any kind of strategic operation the U.S. wants to run. So why take it? It's unclear. It's also unclear what legal rationale Trump could use to justify taking that kind of military action against Greenland. We're not at war with Greenland. Greenland is not a threat to the United States. In fact, it's an ally. Drugs are not coming from Greenland. And if it's such a national security concern, again, the Greenlanders and the Danes are already on our team and they're willing to help us out with whatever military operation we want to run. Now, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has suggested to lawmakers that the United States may be willing to purchase Greenland. But the Greenlanders and the Danes say Greenland is not for sale, and they aren't the only ones talking about this. Today, our other European NATO allies, including the President of France, the Chancellor of Germany, the Prime Ministers of Italy, Poland, Spain, and the United Kingdom, along with the Prime Minister of Denmark, released this statement directed at President Trump without mentioning his name once. The statement says Greenland belongs to its people. It is for Denmark and Greenland, and them only, to decide on matters concerning Denmark and Greenland. They also said that the security of the Arctic is a priority for Europe too, and therefore NATO must collectively work together with the United States to defend that region. Now, interestingly enough, they also added in that letter that NATO, including the United States, has always upheld the principles of the UN Charter, including sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the inviolability of borders. These are universal principles, and we will not stop defending them. Does that mean if Trump moves forward with some kind of military operation to take Greenland over the objection of Denmark, that NATO would defend Greenland against the United States? Or does it mean that NATO would simply no longer exist? Well, the leaders in Denmark say if Trump makes this kind of move, NATO's finished. Look, there are a lot of what-ifs in this story, but it is definitely not out of the realm of possibilities for Trump to do this. Just take his past actions as a guide. The fact is, he said for months he was going to use military action in Venezuela, and he just did it last weekend. For the record, he's been talking about taking Greenland since his inauguration.
The reason Trump is threatening to take over Greenland and why it has the potential to start World War III is, one, he's working with Putin, and two, it has the potential to destroy NATO and the EU. First, Greenland is part of the US-NATO system that monitors and deters Russian military activity in the North Atlantic and the Arctic, like submarines and missiles. And Putin would like that to stop, so Trump takes over Greenland and starts looking the other way. Now, Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, often known as the Unity of the Realm. And Denmark's Prime Minister has urged Trump to stop threatening to take over Greenland. Now, Denmark is part of NATO, but so is the US. So if the US invades Greenland, then Denmark can call for Article 4, which under the treaty falls under the We Feel Threatened clause. But NATO as an organization is very unlikely to respond militarily because the US would be at the same table where they need consensus, and the US could potentially block that. So what happens next? Not everyone will be willing to just let the US take over Greenland. And the reason this has the potential to start World War III is because this could divide NATO and the EU, because we have no idea where people will land on this. We have become the Germany of the world now, and I just hope that it doesn't take the rest of the world as long as it took us to step in during World War II.
Guys, what do you think? I feel that there's a part that gets lost in all of this, because what exactly do, the people of Greenland actually think about this? Because Greenland is not just a territory on a map. About 57,000 people live there. And their leaders have been clear about this, that Greenland is not for sale. They say that they want to determine their own future. They don't want to be under somebody else, not even the United States. And over time, right, Greenland's political leaders have pushed back on any idea of becoming American territory. And they are saying that Greenland's future, including independence from Denmark, should be decided by Greenlanders themselves and not by outsiders. And some of their leaders have also framed, Trump's comments as disrespectful, not just to Denmark, but to, the Greenlandic people and their ongoing process of self-determination and all of that. So what they are saying is that it's not just Denmark or Greenland pushing back. They're saying that European leaders are also pushing back from several countries, and they have issued this joint statement saying that Greenland belongs to the people and that Arctic security must be handled through NATO cooperation, and there must be respect for sovereignty, guys. I mean, Nordic foreign ministers, Iceland, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, they stood against any idea of external control, guys. And they are saying that any decision must be made by Greenland and Denmark, guys. This message is really clear. But do you think it's going to hold any water? Because they are saying that you cannot just decide to take over a territory that belongs to other people, even if you claim it's national, security, that there has to be sovereignty and respect for international law. So guys, do you think that all this really matters? Because right now I feel that maybe nothing can happen for now. I don't know, because Greenland looks like it's not about to be seized by anybody, because it's part of a strong alliance system. They have their own political institutions, they have their public opinion, guys. But I feel that it's going to create tension between NATO allies, and it makes Greenlanders feel like maybe their voice is being ignored, like maybe they don't matter, because most of them are saying that they do not want to be controlled by the United States. Guys, what do you think in the comment section? Because I know that Trump has been floating this idea. He has said it over and over. This is not the first time, this is not the second time. He has been saying it, that he wants to take, the United States wants to take over Greenland. What do you think at this point in time? It's more than just the floating. Do you think actions are gonna be made possible this time? Guys, I need to know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I really want to hear from you. And if you have found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll definitely see you in my next video. Please stay safe. Mental health is important. Ciao.